Welcome to another episode of Unsavory Fellow. My name is Nick James, and I'm here with my great friend, Skip Engblom. It's so good to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming, Skip. It's been a while.
Thank you for having me, Nick. It's been an interesting
life.
Oh, I don't know. It's, what do you want me to tell you? It's not been interesting?
It's been great.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. We go back sort of a long way.
Yes.
In different areas. And lately I've been asked to go out and do these speaking engagements. This is how insane my existence is, okay? So I get this phone call one day from this group of people, and they're like businessmen.
Yeah.
And they go, we would like to have you come out and speak to our group. And I went, okay, it's like the Kiwanis or something, or, like the broiler or moose or squirrels or something.
Yeah. Right.
And
squirrels.
So I go, sure. They go, it's at the beach club in Santa Monica, and we pay you. And I went, what do you mean? What do you mean you pay me? They go, we pay you. And there's a nice dinner and everything. It's an open bar. I went, well, the open bar doesn't really much for me because I don't drink, right? He goes, well, we have good lemonade. I went, okay, that's fine. That's deal clincher for sure. So,
what kind of a thing was it?
They 4 times a year, this group of business people meet, and they just bring in speakers that they're interested in, and they just wanted to know about, for some ungodly reason, about like the Dogtown thing and everything of that nature, right?
Yeah.
But also like how I've managed to keep like a business going. Now it's like in 48 years or something.
Is that right?
Yeah, 47. Yeah, Santa Monica Airlines Skateboards. It's been in business 47 or 48 years.
Holy shit!
And before that, I owned the Zephyr surf shop with Jeff Ho in Santa Monica. And I was the one that came up with the name Zephyr.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And originally we had a factory in West Los Angeles, and then we got the store in Santa Monica because the guy was going to go out of business and we needed a dealer, so I was forced into becoming a retailer. Right?
Did you guys actually make those boards? The Zephyr boards?
So
because I had one. I had an orange one when I was a kid.
Yeah. Okay. So we essentially went into business with like Jay Adams' father, Kent Sherwood.
Okay.
And he was supposed to manufacture, and we were doing marketing and sales, and stuff fell apart pretty easily once real money became involved.
Right.
Okay. So. And that's all I'll say. I'm not going to go down a memory lane. It's useless. The past is the past. You just try and move forward and deal with the future. But how I got to that place was I had, in order to get the money to do this store and this factory, I had been a merchant seaman. So I went all around the world. Yeah, I went all around the world on ships. Like at 19 years old, I got on a ship in Wilmington, and for the next 2 years, I went all around the world.
I never fucking knew that. You were a merchant. So what is a merchant seaman exactly? Because I don't even know what that is.
Okay, well, I worked on the original, like real luxury liners, not these cattle barges they have now.
Right.
This was like very high-end, exclusive people that, like on one trip we took, was a 6-month global circumventation, right? Okay, so we started out.
How old are you? 19?
19, 20 years old.
What was your job on this?
I was in the kitchen. There's like, okay, there's how to explain this. The first job I got on the ship was known as a scullion, which is basically your dishwasher, right? And so because I was in unions, there's A card, B card, C card, and then non-rated, okay? And when you get in the union, you're non-rated, so you have no days.
Okay.
Okay, so you have to wait around to go to this union hall every day and hope like a job comes up. And as it turned out, I got a job right away because this guy that this is always important in life, this guy that I knew, his best friend was the guy that ran the union hall in San Pedro.
Okay.
Right? And before that, I was working in the marina as an apprentice yacht painter.
Oh, really? See, I didn't even know any of that stuff.
Yeah. So then there's this guy, Mike, and he has an unemployed studio backdrop painter and a good guy. And we had this guy who was the yard foreman who was a complete asshole. And he kept hassling this guy and he was going to fire him. But the guy had a wife and the wife was pregnant, right? And he was just hassling this guy for no reason. And so I had a talk with him, this guy that ran the yard.
Yeah.
And I explained to him, like, maybe you're better off not firing this guy because when you're walking around the yard and we're scraping the bottoms of the holes and there's a big seawall and you're pretty clumsy, maybe you'll fall off. And
so you did that for 2 years?
yeah.
You know what's funny? Here's what's funny. Since I've known you, you've always told me these. I was thinking about it last night. You've always told me like stories, and to be totally honest, when I would go, like when I was newly sober, we were going on all these sober surf trips. And Skip would tell me like where there was a secret break down in Mexico or something. And I would think like, man, he's full of shit. I would think that. And I remember one time, one of the first times I went, no, he's not. You told me about shipwrecks.
Right.
Okay, have you heard of this? So this is a long time ago, right? This is 34 years ago. And I went in and I asked you about surfing these spots up in this place, and you told me about, there's this place called Shipwrecks, and you got to have a map. And you didn't have any map, but you drew like a picture.
Right.
With pencil, right? And I walked away with this thing. I go, man, I can't find it. And the one thing you told me, though, you're going to go down past this town called Camaloo.
Right.
And you go, and this is how weird it was. This is when you go, bullshit. You go, there's going to be a red car, an abandoned red car, and you're going to turn right just past the red car. And I'm thinking, what, right? So we're driving down. We're going through the whole time going, this is bullshit. I'm starting to get angry. I go, Skip sent us on some wild goose chase. Such bullshit. We're in Mexico. There's nothing around. And I'm driving, and all of a sudden somebody goes, hey, a car. I think it was Ray Mickshaw. And the car wasn't red, but it was rusted out. So it was rust color. We take the right. We're going miles down. And then 2 miles to get to the beach.
Right.
And then fucking out of nowhere. There's nothing there at the time.
Right.
But this giant ship
That's
that had run
wrecked on the beach.
Wrecked on the beach. I mean, it's unreal. Big, rusty, huge hole in the hull. And this fat fucking right
Yes.
is peeling off that.
Yeah.
And to this day, it's the longest wave I've ever been on in my life.
Yeah.
And I was just like, so then the next time I was talking to you about, I was going to go down to Toto Santos.
Right.
And you go, you got the wrong board. Right. And I go, what do I need? And you go, I'm going to make you a board.
Right.
And I go, why? And you go, you need a bigger board. Right. And I'm riding these little potato chip boards.
Right.
And sure
Stupid surfboard.
Stupid. And you made me a board because you said I needed to stay in the wave. It needed some girth to it. And it's sure enough. And you always told me these incredible stories that have always been like on the money true.
I don't know if you know this, but merchant seamen's drink.
Oh.
It's like like they're not really tourists in a sense that they know where every bar is in a port, right?
Right.
Now,
Were you drinking at that time?
oh sure. Are you kidding? I started drinking at 12. No, no.
That's what I want to hear about.
No, no. Well, first of all, okay, there was this medication called turpin hydrate. It's a cough syrup, right? And
What's the name of it again?
it's this turpin hydrate. It's like
I love
They
it.
used to be but back there used to be there was this thing called turp mills back in the 1940s and 30s and stuff, right? And turpin hydrate is really good at affecting, like stopping coughing,
Okay.
right, and bronchial things, okay. So I had this family doctor in the Venice Circle, and at 12 he goes, "Oh, you're kind of pudgy. Here's this stuff called Benzedrine," right?
Speed.
Right. And so then he's prescribed, like I got like this bad chest cold, so he just prescribed turpin hydrate for me, right? Just get it. And it was at where the Venice Circle is, there was a drugstore and his office was upstairs, and I live 1 block away. And turpin hydrate sort of tasted like maple syrup. So, like, consequently, one day my mom comes home and I have this bottle of turpin hydrate and I'm pouring it over ice cream. So I started out early on, like having, like these, things for being out of my mind, right? Because it's like, no, you got to understand, it's like, the thing is I'm growing up in Venice Beach at 12 years old, right? And there's like shooting galleries down one street and flop houses on the next and prostitutes and all these other, and it was safer then than it is now. That's what's so bizarre.
Why do you think that is?
Because those people aren't really violent. Because
Right, that's when you get high.
No, they're just too fucked up to go anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like Windward Avenue. It used to be nothing but places. They were built there's like the St. Mark's Hotel and there's a lot and stuff. There was no lot then there. There was a part of the hotel. It was like it extended from Pacific Avenue all the way down, and there were like apartments all the way across the top of those things. So if you're drunk or something, you could rent a place by the night or something, or the week. It was like $1 a night or something. I mean, there's no money, right?
Yeah.
So realistically, like the homeless thing was kind of weird because they were homeless, but they were homed in this thing, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? And you can get a bottle of like a short dog of like, silver satin or something.
Short dog. Right.
Of like for $0.25 or 50 cents.
Were you? Were you?
And while I was looking at my first job was working at Trading Post Liquors, right there on Main Street.
How old were you then?
12.
And let me ask you this too, because I want a little bit before that. I want to get into all this, but a little before that, you told me another story about how you were a kid and your job. You worked for the carnival, and your job was to dunk plates.
No, I didn't work for the carnival. Okay.
But you dunked the plates in the soap, right?
No. I get this straight. Okay.
Okay.
So I had a friend, my best friend from childhood, Tony. His uncle Fred was an on-the-road hearing aid salesman. Okay. And he did all the like state fairs and carnivals in the state of California. And he had this like white convertible Pontiac with red interior. And he had this like hunting dog named Sport. And he would like take my friend Tony and I and would drop us off at like Stecyk or something while he would go to Ventura to do something. Okay.
Yeah.
So then he decided that, we should go with him to these, not to go to the beach, but go to these like state fairs. So I went all over the state of California to state fairs and things. And we would, wander around, okay? And then we started meeting all these carnies, the guys that worked at these carnivals, right?
Yeah.
There was one guy who sold the blenders, and he goes, and he would use us as shill, like we were in this audience to shill for him, as he's selling the blenders, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he would go. The guy's pitch was like, this is his blender. Do anything. Can put anything on it. You can put anything in it, like raw eggs, everything. Don't worry about it. Shells, everything. The only thing is you can't put in there is a banana because the banana peels are sprayed for stuff to stop the tarantulas from eating them. So anyway, he goes, I want to volunteer. He goes, I'll tell you what, we'll take a kid out of the audience here. Is there any kid in there that have this thing? And you raise your hand. Yes, sir. Come on up, son. Go up there and you met this in the blender. You blend the thing. You drink it. It tastes like shit. Go, how do it go? That's the greatest stuff ever. He goes, would you ever? Oh, yeah, man, I wish my mom would do this. Okay. So then the other thing was when you go to a carnival and you throw these dimes at these plates, right?
Yeah.
And if you went, okay, well, they're all dipped with soap, liquid soap. So the things automatically skid off. And then there's the other thing about when you throw the basketballs at the thing from 1 foot away.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they're tilted at 1.5% down, so the human eye can't detect it, but they bounce out. This is my learning curve. All my shit is these are the people that are my influences, right? I'm learning about carnivals. I'm learning about all this other stuff.
I like the detail of it. What was this? How much down is it in the rim?
It's about 1.5% down.
1.5%.
Just the slightest.
Right.
Just
Not
enough.
even. Listen to me, man. Not even fucking Stephen Curry could hit a fucking elastic.
And that's just so that the human eye can't detect.
Right. Yes.
Because anymore it would.
Okay. There's many more. Then there's many more of these things. And then when I was in high school, I worked on Ocean Park Pier in the kiddie land. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I would just say this. Having had that experience, I never go to an amusement park
Why?
because everything breaks. Everything breaks at some point. I don't care if you're Disneyland or any of these places. Everything breaks.
You mean the rides?
Yes. Yes. We had this one thing, but it's the best part about it was Kittyland was overlooking Ocean Park Piers,
Yeah.
the cove, right? So I
Yeah.
can check this. It's in the winter, so I can check the surf in front of me every day. They go there. They ended up firing me and this other guy because we just would close Kittyland, and then there's a miniature roller coaster, and we practiced standing up on the miniature roller coaster. Anyway, they just did that shit. So,
But you know what? Because what also made me think of, wasn't your dad?
professional wrestler, yes.
Your dad was a professional wrestler.
Right, world champion, actually.
Isn't that crazy?
You can look it up on Facebook. His
And
name's,
didn't he?
his name's Paavo Katonen.
What was his name?
Paavo Katonen.
Paavo Katonen.
That's one of our family aliases. Yeah,
Okay.
that's not his
What
real.
is that?
That's not his real name.
What's that? What is that's a fake name?
Yes, this is his fake name. My mom went by Mrs. Katonen, so it was really confusing because I'm Derek Engblom, but my father named me Skip, so it's like a whole family of aliases. All right.
Why though?
I don't know why. It's but I met all these people Stecyk and I would go down to go surf at this one place in Santa Monica, and that guy Freddie Blassie would be there with his chick or something, and Stecyk would go, "How's it going today, sir, Mr. Blassie?" And he goes, "Rock solid, kid, rock solid." but it's there was an old professional wrestler friend of my dad's named Honest John, and he had a place on the beach in Santa Monica, and he used to rent surf mats. And that's how I got involved actually in surfing, because
He rented surf mats?
well, the old Hotel Monica, somehow Honest John had this thing with them, so my grandmother and I could stay in this servants' quarters that faced Ocean Park Pier, right? And to get me out of Hollywood in the summertime, right?
Yeah.
So we'd stay there sometimes a month, and Honest John let you had help him rent. He sold hot dogs and hamburgers, and I got paid for could have hot dogs and hamburgers, right? And but he had his son and I would work the mat rental thing, right?
Right.
Okay, because his son was the same age.
What
as
were
me.
What were those mats like? I mean, what were they?
They're the Hodgman Converse mats. They're the canvas mats that are made by actually the Converse rubber company that made the shoes and everything. They made these surf mats too.
So what is that exactly? How does it work?
how the surf mats work?
Yeah.
You never had a surf mat?
No.
You're fucking kidding, right?
No. A surf mat?
Yeah, it's a blow up thing.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's like the raft.
So it's like a boogie board.
It's a raft.
I was scared there for you for a second.
Yeah. No, it was a raft. Yeah. That's the first thing I ever rode. Go on. So anyway, the surf.
Hey, I can't talk to you right now. I'm doing an interview and telling lies.
Telling lies.
Okay.
Telling lies.
Anyway,
So the mat. You were helping with the mats.
Yeah, and so I could go down there early in the morning before he opened up and go surf mat riding, right?
Yeah.
And the aha moment of my existence actually happened then, where I have the surf mat and I'm going, and I never thought about the thing going parallel to the wave, just coming in straight in and stuff, right? So I'm standing there, I'm about ready to go, and I see this guy paddling on his knees from Santa Monica Pier, right? Paddling.
Mm-hmm.
Sun's just come up. It's like he's there. It's the silhouette.
Yeah.
And this wave comes. And all of a sudden he did something I'd never seen before. He paddled into this wave and stood up on it and rode it down the beach and kicked out and kept paddling. And I went, I'm going to do that for the rest of my life.
Wow, yes.
That was the moment. And so I started trying to research her for the next couple of years. I never saw it again, didn't know what it was. I talked to people about it. They thought I was crazy, right? So I'm sitting in,
What year do you think that was?
I think 56 or 57 or something.
Right.
And so I'm sitting in Catholic school in Hollywood at the Blessed Sacrament, and I'm in like the 5th grade or something, and they bring out, and there was 2 things that happened there. One, every year when the World Series came around, the nuns put up all the radios, and they were all tuned to the World Series.
Wow.
Okay. And the other thing was they had these giant projectors that showed these films, right? So one day this giant projector comes in to the nunnery, to the school, and they put it on, and it's some Disney thing. And it's like, all of a sudden it goes, surfboard riding in Hawaii, and here's this like archival footage of Duke and these guys riding Waikiki. Yeah. And they go, and it said surf. I go, that's it. It's called surfing. And I jumped up, and they sent me to the office. And so right away, I knew that being a surfer, you're going to get in problems.
Right.
But I wanted this thing bad. So anyway, I told my mom. My mom busted me riding my bike down from Hollywood to Santa Monica Pier and back. Right. I do this like I get up at 4 in the morning because I hated being in Hollywood. And I go down, look at the ocean, turn around, get back, and one of her friends was in Beverly Hills or something and saw me, and they knocked me out. And my mom went like, "What did you do? Not a day." I went, "Absolutely, I lied, right?" I went, "Nothing." She goes, "Well, why are you in Beverly Hills?" I went, "Okay." I rode my bike to Santa Monica Beach because I hate being here. And she went, "Okay." I go, "I really really love the ocean, the beach, and stuff." And I spent like all these summers there and stuff, and I had this guy, Uncle George, and he lived in the old trailer park on Coast Highway, and he was an old professional wrestler too, and we'd go swimming across the street, and they'd put me on the front of his Harley and blast me up to Malibu and have lunch and shit, like child endangerment right away, right? Like you're a little kid in trunks with a pair of goggles on, like, holding on to the tank of the Harley. and great guy though, man. God, I loved Uncle George. Anyway, so one day, like, school ends, and the next day there's a moving van in front of our house, and I go, "What's that for?" And my mom goes, "We're moving." I go, "What do you mean we're moving?" You know what I mean? We lived around the corner from the Hollywood Boys Club. I was learning how to make skateboards there and stuff when I was 8. so I'm going, okay, like, where are we moving? She goes, to the beach. I went to the beach. Yeah, so I moved down to Venice Beach, and we lived on a street called Ennis Place, which was like 2 blocks off the sand, and it's from the next Main Street Market. And there was this liquor store in front of the place called Trading Post Liquors. And so I'm hanging out there and stuff, and being a kid, and I start Westminster Elementary School and things, and start making these friends with all these like Chicano guys and stuff. And I'm kind of hanging out with them. And this one guy's brother was the head of the Satan slaves. And I was, you know, I mean, I go to this house, and the guy punched me out. And I'm like a 12-year-old, 11-year-old kid, and the guy beat me up. And I didn't cry, so he said I could come around. And
you still wanted to go around.
yeah, sure. You know what I mean? And it was, so like, anyway, so then one day, this guy shows up next door to my house, an apartment. This guy showed up with something I'd never seen before, like a Volkswagen van that had a camper in it. And he pulls out the object of my desire, a surfboard. and now I'm completely interested, right? And he's selling it to my next door neighbor and his friend. And they get it and everything. And then they kind of use it a couple of times, and then they like sort of discarded it. And I went, hey, can I borrow that? And I went, sure. So I drag it down the Venice breakwater. And those days, the breakwater was horrible. Like, it broke about 3 feet off the sand. But I learned how to stand up and stuff and get destroyed. And I'm going to like cut off jeans and stuff. And it's like the spring or something. It's freezing cold. But I didn't care, and I'd come home and stuff. And finally, these guys went like, do you want to buy this board? And I went, no, it's really shitty. I could already figure out it was bad. But I had been working at the Trading Post Liquors and saving this money. So I heard there was this place in Santa Monica called Con Surfboards, right?
Yes.
So I got on the bus from the Venice Circle, found Con Surfboards, and made a deal, and I bought this like used board there. And then I went home, and then I got this one friend of mine's like father who had a truck to transport it home for me. I had to pay the guy, I think it was like $1.50 for gas. Fucker. Anyway.
How old were you at this time then?
12.
So you're 12.
Yeah. So I'm starting surfing, and then I'm in junior high school, and I run into this guy named Jackie Baxter, and he tells me about this place on the north side of Ocean Park Pier, right? And I go, okay. So there was a tram that ran on the ocean front. It cost a dime. And so, you know what a tram is?
Yeah.
Okay, so if people don't know what a tram is, it's like a little open side people carrier that had a Model A Ford engine in it. And you could go from the Venice Circle to Ocean Park Pier, and it was 10 cents.
10 cents.
Was it on a track or just regular tires?
And
Was it on a track or regular tires?
no track, just on the ocean front. There was just
It's like
there was no
like a bus almost,
yeah.
a miniature bus.
There's basically, you got to understand, there are almost no people on the ocean front in the 60s.
Wow.
I know it sounds really weird, but it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, the only time that there was any people was from like June to September. And in October, you could walk out there, take a handgun, and shoot it from one end of the ocean front, and not hit another person.
I've done that.
Right? I mean, look at the pictures. There's archival pictures showing the ocean front in the 60s. There's no one there.
And there used
No
to
one
be a
there.
pier at Ocean Park?
Huh?
There used to be a pier at Ocean Park?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
When did that go away? I live at Ocean Park now. That's why.
Yeah, when the one by in the 70s.
Yeah, it was like 76.
By
Storm?
75, it was gone.
Yeah.
Storm or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, burned down. That's
Yeah.
a whole other thing.
POP.
But the Santa Monica Pier did exist also.
Yeah.
Santa Monica Pier was up there. There was also, actually, there was a pier at Venice where the breakwater is.
Right.
There was another pier before Ocean Park Pier. There was Ocean Park Pier. I think it was called Crystal Pier. Then there was an Ocean Park Pier, then the Santa Monica Pier.
Wow.
We used to have a lot of piers.
Wow. That's crazy. Did any of them create waves.
Yeah, just like then we had the Long Wharf. You don't know about that either. Don't worry. You know what the Long Wharf was? Okay, it's like where they were going to make L.A. Harbor
Okay.
on where when you go north, you go past like Sunset Boulevard,
Right.
and there's all those kind of weird little rock jetties.
Yeah.
That's the leftover from the Long Wharf. That was a quarter-mile long out to the sea.
Wow.
Yeah, a little different. Anyway,
Fuck.
so I started going to Ocean Park Pier, and the guy that sold the surfboard to my neighbors, 3 years later when I decided to leave home and go to Hawaii, I quit school and go to Hawaii because I wanted to go surfing.
How old were you then?
15,
So you quit at 15.
yeah.
And where were you going to school at that time?
I was supposed to start at Venice
Venice?
High School.
And you said, fuck it, and went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
See?
No, well,
Great minds think alike.
Hey, same.
right? Well, no, I got on the plane with like these two other guys, right? And some guys picked us up at the airport, and you know, you always visualize getting out the airport and they're going to be lays, right?
Kisses.
And somehow, no. For us, it was a bagpiper thing. I thought I got on the plane to Scotland.
Really?
Yeah, I'd never been on a plane before. All right, it was like, it cost like $100 to go But anyway, so we go to Hawaii and stuff.
What island were you on?
Oahu.
Okay.
And then the guy who sold the surfboard to my neighbor was the guy that picked us up at the airport, and I didn't know him at that point, but I knew who he was because he would come around. His name was Al, right?
Yeah.
And he still remained friends with these people next door. And so we drive out. First we stopped in Honolulu to go to this place, the Inter Island Surf Shop, because this guy Joe Hurley wanted to pick up a surfboard from there. Then we went down to Ala Moana and went surfing, and I met this guy named Harry Sonoda. At the Inter Island Shop, I met this guy named Harry Sonoda, who's my age, and he was like really a super good surfer. Like he was like a David Nuiva good surfer.
And what kind of a board were you riding then at that time?
I had a Dave Sweet gave me a surfboard,
How big was it?
10 foot.
Wow. And you
Yeah.
brought that?
Huh?
Did you bring that on the plane?
Yeah.
You had you bring that in a tent, and that's back then that board was a log heavy, 50 pounds.
Actually, the interesting thing was the Dave Sweet surfboards were significantly lighter than everybody else's because he did this process of hard shell foam. So they would he had 96 molds, and he shaped the boards in the mold really and just kind of scraped the rail. And J.I.'s father was working for him,
Oh, okay.
Kent, right?
Yeah.
And his stepfather was working for him, right?
Right.
So anyway, so we get out, I go there, and me and this guy, Harry Sonoda, became friends. And then there was this other guy named Byron Horswell. But anyway, so we go there, and then there was this lady who was the glosser, finish coater for Inter Island. But she, this guy goes, hey, this guy named Sparky goes, hey, go down and get Joey and tell her that they need to work later. So, okay, and this Harry guy goes, you want to go with me down to the pool hall? I went, sure. So we go 2 blocks down to this pool hall, and it's like dark and everything, and it's nothing but Hawaiians. And this little fat Howley kid walks in with this guy, and then they looked at me like, what are you doing here? Right? But I'm so naive and stupid or something, or just like they looked at me like I was some kind of weird, cute puppy that wandered in the door, had no sense of place at all. It's like they were just hoping I wasn't going to pee on the furniture. And I look over, and here's this beautiful Japanese lady, and she's got a pool cue in her hand, and she's leaning over the table to shoot. And Harry goes, hey, Joey, Sparky needs you to go out gloss boards later. She goes, okay. And she goes, I just got to finish up. And she shoots and finishes running the table, takes the money, and walks out, right? I went, fuck, that was unreal.
Yeah.
Right?
And she's the finisher.
Yeah, and she's also like an unbelievably good surfer. Like she was
Wow.
one of the best people out at Ala Moana. She decided just going to go surf Ala Moana instead of going to work right then. So she won the money playing pool, went down and surfed Ala Moana, took the place apart, and came back. So anyway, in the meantime, what had happened is, at one point there were all these Hawaiian guys in Venice, right? And this guy was in school with John Chang. His older brother Joe was an unbelievably good surfer, but he had all these relatives like that were hanging out over there, like Gonzi and Lumakua Jr. and what's the other guy's name? There's one other Hawaiian guy anyway. And they would go over to Ghost Town and play basketball, right? And all the black people really totally dug them, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially the chicks. They thought they were a different kind of like black people. It was kind of weird. You know what I mean? But they totally accepted them as being like part of the community or something. So they go over and I got to know these guys. So when the first day I'm in Hawaii and we're at Ala Moana, they're all hanging out there, right? So all these guys went, oh, this is Skip from California. It's like, you know, like, so it was super nice. So then we got in this car and we stopped at the Dole plant, Hawaiian plant. These guys brought out this big empty jugs. And in those days you could go to the Dole plant and get free pineapple juice to drink, right? Like these guys filled up these jugs with these giant things. So we'd have these giant things of pineapple juice for the house. We drove to the North Shore and we lived in an Army Quonset hut on the beach on Kanui Road, right?
Yeah.
And it'll sleep 20 people. You know, it was a military barracks, right? That thing. And so I lived with like 9 other people. I was 15 years old.
Wow.
And none of these people were going to take care of me because they're not my mom.
Yeah. How are you paying? How are you feeding yourself? And
That's interesting.
were you getting high and drinking too at the same time at 15?
Sure.
How are you doing? Like, where are you getting money to support this stuff?
Well, okay. When I worked at the liquor store, I saved all this money, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the guy who owned the place was a really nice man named Mr. Perry. And so I told him, and I used to work there, like I'd go sometimes before school and stock bottles and bust, and I'd go after school every day, and then I'd go back again late at night, right? And I worked with a guy from Indiana named Bob, and Bob like would listen to these Laker games, and I just told him that, like, turn that shit off. You need to listen to some music, and he smoked this horrible little black cigar and stuff, and he was 6'6" tall. He's a monster, and he looked at me like he was really a mouthy kid. Like I'd backhand you if you weren't so stupid, right? And so. But Mr. Perry was a great guy. I mean, he was really good. So I saved this money to go, and he goes, I'm going, yeah, I get on a plane tomorrow, go to Hawaii. He goes, you better be here at 8 in the morning to like do your work before you leave. I went, I'm going, he goes, you better be here at 8 in the morning to do this before you leave. I went, okay. So 8 in the morning, I'm there, and I walk in to start work, and he goes, listen, my older brother, he owned this liquor store. And see all these game heads on the walls? He shot all these creatures. He went all around the world doing stuff. I was the guy that stayed home, right, and didn't do anything. He goes, you reminded me of my older brother. He hands me this envelope. It had a couple of $100 in it, right? He goes, hide this. He goes, listen, if you get in trouble, call me, and I'll take care of it. Well, what? He goes, if you get in trouble, he goes, hide this money, I'll take care of it. Okay. He goes, well, try not to get in trouble. Okay. So.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah. So I had this money. I had the plane ticket was paid for. Like the rent on the Quonset hut was like $79 a month to live on the sand,
Wow.
and there was 9 people.
Right.
Right.
It's $7 a month.
Yeah. So, anyway, so I lived in the right in front of this place called Gas Chambers, right?
Oh yeah.
And Rocky Point was down the road. No one surfed there yet because it was considered not a wave.
Right.
Like Rocky Point was considered not a wave in 1963.
Isn't that wild?
Okay, because everybody's concentrating on big sunset
Yeah.
and pipeline and stuff, and all the waves in between kind of was like, like Pupakea and Gas Chambers and stuff, and a place called Arma Hut would like they're just,
Yeah.
So anyway, so we had all these people, and so I did this whole thing, and then the state of California found out the state of Hawaii found out I was an unaccompanied minor, so they sent me home after about 3
Really?
months. Yeah.
How
I
did
tried
they
to
find that out, I wonder?
I tried to sign up for school in Haleiwa, and they said I was in the wrong district, and so I needed to go sign up at Kahuku. At Kahuku, the lady told me, like, you'll be the only Haole kid in school, and we haven't had Kill Haole Day here in years, so you maybe might not want to go to school. But where are you living? And then I told them, and then all of a sudden they came around and went, you have to leave the state. So I flew back to California and tried to re-sign up for Venice High School, and they wouldn't let me in because my hair was too long and I was wearing slaps and not shoes. So they told me I had to come back the next semester. So I got this other job and bought a car, and me and this guy, Jackie, went like on a surf trip around California for about 6 months. And, and then they got back and I signed up for school, and they made me sign this agreement saying that I wouldn't miss any days, which I did. I signed it, and they got through that first year, and then they tore up the agreement. And from that point on, I missed like probably 30 or 40 days a year. But anyway, so I got out and did all this stuff, and then.
Let me just because of time-wise, I want to fast forward.
Okay.
To how you got, into what you're known for.
Oh, well.
Like, how did you go from that?
Uh-huh.
You're just a kid with no education.
Right.
You're partying, obviously.
Yeah.
How are you able to go from that to what, what you began, which was basically to me, it's like you're one of the birthers of skateboarding.
Yeah, well, I always made my first skateboard I ever sold for money was a guy named Danny Woody, who you know.
Yeah.
Okay. I was 12 years old, and I had a skateboard that I made, and he used it and wanted it, and I sold it to him for $1.50.
$1.50.
Yeah, because I had 50 cents in it, because I bought these used roller skates and tore them apart. So then I was in the profit mode right then, so I went and found some more and made another one. And sold that, and then when I was in high school, I ended up working for this company called Specialized Products down on West Washington, and they made trophies and water skis, and had a subcontract to make these fillovers skateboards. So my job was to hot brand the skateboards. So I started out in the industry doing that, and then. Later on, I worked for Makaha years later.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, for Mr. Stevenson. He was a great guy. He was very sick at the time, and they had a little place in El Segundo that was full of letters and stuff, and people would send $1, and the feds wanted to arrest him for postal things, right? He wasn't, but he was sick, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, it took about 6 months to go through all the letters and send people back their money or send them the decals or whatever they wanted. And that was pretty cool. I liked that. But anyway, so we got it, we put this Zephyr team together because Jay Adams wanted to go do this skateboard contest. And
yeah, how did that start?
he just said like, hey, there's a
So did you have the surf shop yet?
Yeah, we had the surf
So
shop.
you and Jeff had the shop.
Yeah, Jeff and I had the shop, and these guys would never leave the store. Like they were just
hanging around.
Really annoying, right?
And
like,
who was that?
Oh, it was like Pat Kaiser and Marco Salazar and Jay and Tony and a bunch of these people. Just they would come in and never leave the
hanging
store.
Around.
Yeah, yeah. Had Nathan Pratt was working as a kid, like keeping the shop clean and stuff. And
I didn't know that Nathan worked there as a kid.
yeah. He was our our first employee.
Then how did you meet Jeff?
I was back from being a merchant seaman, and I was with Stecyk, and I had to sit in my '49 Cadillac, and it had been raining for days, and the whole parking lot of Bay Street was flooded with 2 feet of water, and we were just checking the surf, and Jeff had this van, like 48 Chevy panel wagon that he was living in, and
he was living in it.
Yeah, he's living in it, and he was parked up at this girl's house, Ruthie's house, in a kind of a backyard surfboard factory, and it had been flooded out. And Stecyk went to me and goes, "Hey, there's that guy Jeff Ho. He makes surfboards." I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "You know him?" I go, "I never met him." He goes, "He needs, like I've heard out, he needs a new factory. Like you should go into business with him." Because I had this cash from being a merchant seaman, and I had to hang out because it was legal matters. So anyway, I climbed out of the Cadillac, jumped on his car, went, "Hey," I knocked on the window, which freaked him out. Went, "Hey, my friend tells me you need a factory. Like, do you want to go into business?" And he goes, "So if you can find a factory today, like I'll go into business with you." I went, "Okay, get in the Cadillac." So we drove up to West Los Angeles, turned left on Armacost Avenue. There's a for rent sign on this factory, and it's a Sunday, and there's this big giant Jaguar, the ones that used to look like Rolls Royces sitting there. And I get out, and there's this guy. I go, "You are the owner of this family?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "You want to rent a place?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "How much is it?" He goes, $290 a month. Okay. Can we look at it? Sure. Walk down this breezeway, this building. Okay. I look at Jeff, like, I go, "Do you have 150? He goes, "Yeah, I got 150. We shook hands, we went into business. That was it.
Just like that.
Yeah, I never met him before.
And then you guys started making boards.
Right, we had to build out a factory. So we got this lumber and concrete and shit from places. And
then how did you come in? How did you come into the? So you started telling me that through Jay's stepdad was the idea of how you got into
the skateboards.
the skateboards.
So we
because I made a little video.
Okay, so we went to so the surfboard thing, we made Jeff Ho surfboards in this factory.
Right.
But we needed a cheaper line of surfboards. So we invented the like sanded finished surfboard and stuff.
Okay.
And they were called Zephyrs. And they were the less expensive line. The Jeff Sports were one price, the Zephyrs were the other price, but they still made them. You know, Jeff was shaping.
Yeah.
At that point, Jeff was shaping them all anyway.
What were selling? Were they selling the cheaper ones?
Yeah. Yeah, because people like the boards worked great. So if you have one thing that's 150 and one thing is 100, or one thing that's 120 and another thing that's 90, you're going to buy the 90 if it works as good as 120.
Yeah.
That's just supply and demand. You know.
And you know it was crazy too, because
Matt Warsaw was the first guy to ever own a Zephyr surfboard.
And what about the airbrushes and all that?
That was Stecyk.
That was Stecyk.
Yeah.
That was Stecyk.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
So that was Stecyk's design with those airbrushes.
Yes.
Did you know what that looks like? Dylan, you do, right? Because I'll tell you what's funny. I was a kid and I wanted one so bad because Stecyk's airbrushes were amazing.
Yeah.
And there were these dudes, these men, they're in their 20s, late 20s, and they lived in a house down the street. And me and my cousin would peep through the window because they were all having these raging parties, and there was always girls running around with their tops off in the backyard. And me and my cousin would look through the window, and we saw all of these boards. They had a whole row of boards with Stecyk's designs.
Yeah.
And we go, fuck, we got to get those boards. And we hopped over the fence when there was nobody there. They're at work or something. And we stole all the boards and brought them down to the beach. And everybody's like, you fucking idiots. You can't steal a board that looks like that because everybody's going to know because it was such an original design that they go, these guys are going to find you and kick your ass because you can't surf a board that looks like that. It's just, the design was crazy. So we set them all on fire on the beach.
Let me tell you, that was
That's how we got rid of them.
That was probably about a $10,000 fire today.
So we just said it. We didn't know what to do. We just want to get our asses kicked, and some kid goes, hey, why don't you go set him on fire? So we made some radical bonfire. And
You're not lucky your lungs are still alive. It's so toxic.
But I didn't know that Stecyk did that. So that's the three of you guys.
Yeah.
Were crucial pieces.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's like it was a perfect situation because I didn't care about being well known. I just wanted to have a business.
Right.
Jeff cared about being Jeff.
Right.
So that was good.
Yeah.
And then Craig just wanted to do all this experimental art and stuff.
Right.
Okay. So so Stecyk had basically a studio in the factory where he could do this stuff. And then the opportunity for the shop, it wasn't really an opportunity, I looked at it, but it was a necessity because the guy, Phil Castanola, was going to close the store.
Okay.
And he was our dealer in San Diego and in Santa Monica. He was going to keep San Diego but close Santa Monica. So
What do you mean your dealer?
Huh? For surfboards.
Oh, okay.
Not our drug dealer. Okay.
Else. I was like, he
Jeez,
just slipped
come
that
on.
in. How did he slip that in there?
You know what I mean? That was the guys in Laguna.
So anyway.
So we ended up getting this store, like I said, in Santa Monica because of that. And what happened was they made this deal with him that I'd work the month of December and sell his merchandise. This is how stupid I was, okay? That I would help sell off his merchandise and we have whatever is left of thing. And honestly, in good faith, I sold everything I could for him and gave him the money. Like I didn't.
You just gave it to him.
Yeah, I gave him the money. It was and then I realized later, I didn't have to sell anything. We were just going to get the store and we got all the stock. But
Yeah.
I thought that was like totally uncool. Like anybody I ever worked for, I never took anything from them. Like that was like, like the person, one of my credos was like, if somebody is willing to employ you, you need to be honest with them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you should never do something that, if you don't like working there, just quit.
How long did you have the shop?
5 years.
That's it.
Yeah.
God, it seemed like a lifetime, but it was just 5 years.
Yeah.
And then did Cahill take it over after that? Who got it after that?
No, Nathan took over.
Oh,
after
Nathan,
that.
that's right.
Well, I left. In 76, I left.
Where did you go?
Hawaii.
Oh, that's when you went to Hawaii?
Back to Hawaii.
Okay.
And I moved to the North Shore and lived with this guy, Gary Spees, who'd been my neighbor and childhood friend and the gnarliest human being on the planet. And he lived up in Pupakea Highlands. So I moved into this A-frame up there. And it turns out my roommate and this other guy, Jim Richardson, were building a surfboard factory out in Kahuku. So I instantly had a job as a sander. So that was it. I started working there and stuff, and just kind of forgot about the whole thing. I just gave Jeff the store and stuff because we were having these disagreements, and I just decided, I left with like $16.
Were they business disagreements or creative?
Yeah, that and lifestyle disagreements.
Right.
And so like I left with like $16 and 2 surfboards.
Wow.
But I got this girl paid for me to go to Hawaii with her.
And then how long did you stay in Hawaii at that time?
2 years.
And then you came back?
Yeah.
And then what did you get into then, once you came back?
Well, I basically came back, and then I just kind of started over.
And is that, because then how did you get into SMA? How did you start that? And what year was that?
I got, in 78, I started it. Like, I went down to the skate park in Torrance with Wenzel. Wenzel was down there, and he goes, like, you might want to meet this guy. And there's some older dude, and he was just like, he was kind of a hustler, con man kind of guy.
Yeah.
And he knew these people that had this skateboard shop in Santa Monica on Ocean Park Boulevard, and it was like failing because he was like, his kids were running it and they didn't know what they're doing. And so they hired me to go in and turn this place around. So I went, okay. So I went in and like I immediately got rid of all the dead merchandise at discount and stuff, took the money, brought in the Sims products and some other company stuff they were doing.
And at that time, was it the Sims? Was it like the Sims taper kick and
yeah,
those boards at that time?
And the snake wheels.
And the
everything.
snake wheels.
Right, but also we were like the first kind of people that dealt with gyro wheels and stuff, and and Kryptonics and you know, just like stuff that was coming out that was good or better than. Originally, when we had the store on Main Street, we tried to get the Road Rider wheels, right?
Yeah.
And we had a deal with them, and then the guy went up to Santa Cruz, and Santa Cruz talked them out of our deal and took over the Road Rider wheel thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It turns out the guy that talked them out of it, interestingly enough, I became best friends with in Hawaii, who was an amazing shaper named Jim Richardson. And he is a genius. He's a professor at the University of Hawaii now, and really a genius, a great guy.
And so you started SMA.
So I came back.
In
78. I came back, 78. So I came back and the store was, failing, and I kind of turned it around. And then there was a kid there named Jim Schulte, and he was a really good skater and stuff. And he, and I wanted to buy these Dogtown skateboards, right? Mm-hmm. Since I invented the name with Stecyk, right? I figured.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Don't you understand? Me and Craig invented the name Dogtown.
I didn't know the details of that. Like you always hear and you think you know, but I don't know like I didn't know Stecyk was actually the designer of the airbrushes for.
Yeah.
So you guys started Dogtown. The name.
Okay. I was drunk.
Here we go.
And Stecyk was drunk.
Yeah.
And it was in August, and we're sitting. There used to be a bus bench in front of the store.
Yeah.
And we're drinking, and it was like dog days of summer, right? It's like really hot, the
Right.
dog days, right? And I went like, man, these are some real dog days. And Stecyk went, yeah, this is a really dog town. And I went, yeah, I guess we're living in Dogtown. He goes, yep, we're in Dogtown. and he goes, no, we really are in Dogtown. And I went, all right. I didn't think much of it, right?
Right.
And then that kind of went from there. And so
that was how it started.
Yeah. And then Wes Humpson and these
Right.
and the Kaisers and everything started making like these wooden like belly boards and stuff in their garage, and I'm still really good friends with Wes today.
I knew, as a kid. I mean,
Yeah, he's still. him and Kevin Ansell.
Yes, Kevin.
Yeah, we gave Kevin his first job ever. Paid.
Really? I didn't. That's
Yeah,
great.
paid his first
I didn't
pretty
know
paying
that.
job as an artist at 12, and then
And Kevin Ansell went on to become a great artist, a big artist.
he's really famous.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, well, one of the guys in Hawaii that I lived with in 15 was really famous. A guy named John Laddie Dill. He's like National Endowments of the Art, Guggenheim Fellowship.
Oh wow.
He taught me he told me like at 15 what art was. We were talking one day on the back porch when it was raining. And he was going back to California. I was 15. He was 20. He was going back to California to do art. And I go, you mean like comic books? And he looked at me like I was an idiot. And went like, no. And he explained to me, gave me this whole dissertation on what art was. As an uneducated kid, like that was part of my education. Like he was brilliantly able to explain to this numbskull like what art was about and the appreciation of what art really was.
Right.
Okay. The irony of irony is that after that, I met all these different people who are artists.
Yeah.
Right. You know, like I was like 20 something years old. I met this guy named Bobby Newworth, right, who was Bob Dylan's best friend, and did music. But I didn't know he did music. I was introduced to him as a painter.
Okay.
And he was a brilliant painter.
Right.
Right. I met him through this guy Jim Ganzer. Anyway.
Jim Ganzer. I knew Jim Ganzer.
Yeah.
I remember Jim Ganzer.
Okay. So, but anyway, so I'm just going and doing this stuff, and the guys that owned the Dogtown label wouldn't sell me any skateboards. Because we had one store that was like...
Who owned it at that time?
The guy's named Mutt and Jeff. That's what they were called. I don't know if they were real names.
Okay.
But somehow they had taken over this label from Muir and Wes and these guys, and they were funding it or something. And they wouldn't sell me skateboards. And I just looked at them and went like, hey, fuck you. I showed these guys how to make skateboards.
Right. And came up with the name.
I'll make skateboards. Right?
Yeah.
So the store we had was across the street from Douglas Aircraft and the Santa Monica Airport, right?
Yeah.
And I'm with this guy, Jim Schulte, and Jim's was a brilliant skater and a good craftsman. He ended up being a super good remodeler of homes and everything later on. So we start coming up with these templates and things, and we start making these boards. And I had found years earlier this place called Prime Manufacturing, and they bent wood for like, you know, chairs and cellos and all this other shit. And so I went to Prime, and they pressed the first blanks.
Okay.
Like the laminated blanks.
How'd you come up with the name SMA?
Okay, we're getting there. Okay, so we needed a name, and I thought, okay, here's the airport, right?
Just like the park bench in Dogtown,
Right.
now
Yeah.
we're in front of an airport.
Here's the airport, right? Here's the aircraft plant,
Yeah.
right? And Jimmy and I were making these boards, and instead of all the boards at one time had square rails,
Right.
and we started foiling these things out like wings. So I went, well, these are basically small airplane wings, so let's just call this Santa Monica Airlines.
Great.
Right? So they had this girlfriend, and I took her and I went to the Santa Monica Library and looked at all these different pictures of seaplanes, and she did some renderings, and they weren't quite perfect what we needed. So then I had something, we changed it around, and this guy Marty Sugarman was making decals at the time, and so I gave him the artwork, and he made these decals. And then this guy was in high school with Earl Tanchuk. He was a silk screening place on Rose Avenue in Venice called Ace Trophies. And so I took the boards down there, and he did the first screening of them.
And then I have one here that you gave me probably almost 20 years ago.
This is different.
What's this?
This is something that was made at Watson Lemons in San Diego.
But what
And
about this template?
This is something that I came up with for like a kind of cruiser board. That the artwork was done by Dane Peterson on this board.
Pretty bitchin'.
Yeah, it's really good. It's one of my favorites actually. Graphically, it just speaks.
Yeah. I mean, look how beautiful that is.
Always the whole idea was to have, like it goes back to this whole idea of art, right?
Yeah.
Like I always had good artists, like first and foremost, like Cahill and Wes Humston and different people like that did stuff for me.
And,
Yeah.
I mean, what's funny, Skip? We got into all the history of you early on, which is fantastic. I wanted to get into even talking about your dad and the pro wrestling and all that stuff and how you grew up around, like you said, carnies and in Hawaii and all this sort of, which is amazing because what's that like when all of a sudden you go, Stacy does Dogtown and Z-Boys, and then also it's like you get this rebirth, and then they're making, and Heath Ledger's playing you in Lords of Dogtown.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Fucking nuts.
Yeah,
Who would
pretty
have
much.
thought?
Well, I mean,
Because you know what was funny about that? I was at a Laker game. I don't know if you remember this, right? And I'm in the nosebleeds at a Laker game. And all of a sudden I see you walk down to the floor with Heath Ledger. And I was like, what the fuck? And I called you and you go, yeah, I'm down on up courtside with Heath Ledger.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. He was an amazing, good person.
Yeah.
Great actor.
Him and Naomi Watts were extremely kind to my wife
Mm.
and I. Mainly, they were really kind to my wife. And so therefore, if you're really kind to my wife, I like you as a person.
That's good.
Because, yeah, I guess I'm like I could be like sort of the center of attention of this thing or something, which I'm not real, I don't know how to say this. I don't really care about that stuff much. You know what I mean? It's like, because it's just, listen.
No, and I know you don't. I
I'm-
just find it amazing that you could have, because like I've told you, a lot of the show we talk about recovery, we talk about,
Sure.
life of debauchery
so-
and how you make it out of there.
Okay, so I'll go in a little bit, like, they got my background, right? So like,
Yeah.
all right, so I'm really like, at one point, I had been licensed to this company. My license ended. I owed a bunch of money, and I didn't have a job or anything, so I had to like just try to figure out what to do. And I had been remaking skateboards a little bit, right? So I was feeling pretty miserable, and I'd stopped drinking like before Thanksgiving because my goddaughter, who was like 4 at the time, I freaked her out. Like I say, she thought I was a mess.
When you were drunk?
Yeah, well, I wasn't drunk, you know what I mean? And so I decided, well, before Thanksgiving, I'm going to quit drinking, make this kid feel comfortable.
What year was that?
1989.
Okay.
So then I go through it, the kid responds to me kind of okay. So then I go, well, I'll just stay sober till Christmas. And I stayed sober till Christmas, and then, right, I go, but I'm going to drink on New Year's. And then I got sick, right? So I was sick, I missed New Year's and stuff. So now it's like about a week or so into January, and stuff's not going right and shit, you know what I mean? And I go, fuck. And then Chris Roloff called up, went, what are you doing? I need a skateboard. And I went, yeah, I have one for you. He goes, okay. And I go, hey, man, I heard that you're going to some of those fucking meetings or something. He goes, yeah. He goes, I'm going to come be right over and get you. We're going. I go, what are you talking about? Right? And I have the phone in my hand, and the phone's dead. And I go, what this fucking guy talking about?
Right.
Come, right. There's this pounding on my front door. I live on 12th and Broadway, right? He
Yeah.
lives about, I go, come in, it's him. I go, how'd you get here so fast? I go, so on the phone in my hand. He goes, I ran through 2 red stoplights and drove 60 miles an hour like you're done, get in the car. So I went, okay. Because I wasn't doing anything, I went, okay. So I go to they go to this meeting on Hill Street, right?
Yep.
4th and Hill. And there's this guy, Mike, and he was the greeter, right? He goes, hey, my name's Mike, and I went, I don't give a shit. He goes, well, you're welcome here anyway. And I went, okay, fine. So I sit in the back row, and I'm listening and stuff, and all of a sudden I'm realizing it's about I know 10 or 12 of these people in this meeting. Like my friend Rick Dano's there,
Yeah.
different people are there. I go, shit, man. I go, okay. Get up and leave, and there's this chick named Debbie O'Connor, and she goes you're coming back next week, right? I went, I don't know. She goes, well, you should. I went, yeah, great. So then Chris goes, look, we're going to go to this meeting tomorrow. And all of a sudden, it's like Chris rolled off on my fucking ass. and I started going to some of these meetings, and I don't say shit, right? And I hate every minute of it. I hate every minute of it, right? I'm gripping.
Yeah.
Right? I'm gripping. I hate every minute of it. And then all of a sudden, they go, anybody here have 30 days? I went, and they nudged me, you have 30 days now. I went, oh yeah. We'll get one of those things. Why? They go, just go get it. Make people happy. Make people happy. Okay. Hey, everybody's claps. Hey, skip 30 days. All right, great. Then 60 and 90, right? Okay. Then about 6 months in, and I'm getting friendly with this chick Debbie and this other chick Avery, right? And they're bouncing me around all these. So they're then this other one girl, I think his name was Kathy, and the three of them were like mother hens. They're maneuvering me all over the place, right? Can't get rid of them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I asked Debbie, I go, hey man, I'm sort of trying to hit on her, what do you think? She goes, I'm gonna do you a solid. Okay, she goes, you want to take this commitment here at this meeting on Hill Street on Wednesday night, take the box. Okay, so this box has all this shit in it. She goes, bring it back next week. Okay, asshole, I went. Fuck, I go, Chris, you call me an asshole. I can't even believe it, right? Okay, take this box home every week. I get a year sober, right? I get this fucking 1 year deal and stuff, great. And one day I look at Debbie and I go, I've been over a little year, I go, well, can I talk to you? And she goes, sure, you can talk to me about anything, right? I go, this box. Yeah, I go, nothing in this box that we deal with the meeting, right? It's just a bunch of wires and shit and stuff. She goes, yeah. I go, why is that? She goes, why do you think, are you that stupid? This kept you going for a year here. I go, what do I do now? She goes, give it to some other asshole that needs it. So there's this one fucking rock and roll long-haired guy, right? Having trouble. I went, hey man, I'm gonna do you a solid. What's that? I go, I gotta give up the box commitment.
So great.
Okay. He's totally stoked, right?
Right.
Okay. 2 years in, right, I was in this meeting, the guy walks up to me and goes, hey, I want to talk to you. I went, yeah, he goes, there isn't shit in that box. I go, yeah, I know. That chick, Debbie, and those three girls, they conned me into this for a year. And I conned you in for a year. You're still sober, right? He goes, yeah. I go, find some other idiot to give him the box. After the meeting, I see this guy walking up, some other guy handing off the box, and the guy looks at me and gives thumbs up, right?
That's so great.
So it was one of those things, right? So then I had 2 years, and I'm going, okay, and stuff's, and then in the 2 year period, I kind of had asked Scott Anderson for a job down at the surfboard factory. He said he didn't have anything except for cleaning up the factory or doing repairs, and they didn't really have a repair business, right? We didn't have a repair area or anything. But like 2 or 3 boards a week would come in, right? And somehow I'd go down and do these repairs, right? I'd go in the morning, and then like this guy, Tuna, would come in and polish boards in the afternoon. He'd be high on weed and everything. And then what happened was Chris Roloff goes, I go, what'd you do today? He goes, oh, I worked as an extra on this commercial. I go, how's that? And he goes, pretty good. He goes, do you want to think you want to work on commercials? I went, is it pay? He goes, yeah. He goes, I know this place in Venice that takes non-union people, and he calls up this lady, and I go down, I sign up with her, and nothing happens for 6 months. And then one day I got this call from her. She goes, are you still in the business? I go, what's that? She goes, the activist. Absolutely. Now, I've never had an acting job my entire life, okay, except for selling stuff to people. And so I go and it's a special for Kawasaki, and they dress me up as a Viking. And we drive out. We're going to drive out to Hell and Gone to someplace, right? And they gave me a union credit for it, right? And so I had 1 union credit. And in the AA, they teach you how to say hello to everybody and shake hands, right? Mm-hmm. So I shook hands and said hello to everybody. And this one guy, who was the guy that handed a cup of coffee to the director, said, I really like you. And if I ever get to direct, I'm going to hire you. And I went, okay, fine. Here's my phone number and name and stuff, right? And so about like a month later, I get this call, and they go, hey, Skip, this director requested you to work on this commercial for Coca-Cola down at Venice Beach. And I went, okay. He goes, you know this guy? I go, don't know him at all. He goes, well, he knows you. So I go down to this thing in Venice Beach, and there's a circle of people, and they're all hovering around this one guy. And the guy comes looking at me, hey, Skip, how you doing, man? I told you if I ever got to direct, wow, I'd hire you, right? And he did. So it was my second union gig, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then a third one kind of came up, right? And I got on that, so now I could join the union, right? In the meantime, this friend of mine, Scott Hubble, was the second unit director, water director for water safety and everything for Baywatch. So he goes, hey, do you want to come down and work on this afternoon on Baywatch? And I went, sure. So I came back from Surfing Malibu, pull into the lot down at State Beach, and go in, and they go, hey, this is thing. And I'm sitting there, and here's like Pamela Anderson and all these people. And the director comes up to me, he goes, Scott tells me that you're a surfer. I went, yeah. He goes, so you can go in the water, right? I went, yeah, sure, surfers go in the water. Right? And he goes, come here. He goes, see, this guy is the principal. Like, all these people, you're gonna go, this guy's going out in the water, and some other people are gonna go, but I'm scared he's gonna drown, right? Like, if he starts to drown, can you save him? And I just jokingly went, is that more money? And he goes, absolutely, you're getting upgraded right now from being an extra to do this thing. I went, okay, great. And I got this extra, doc, guys, how you doing? Great. I go, listen, don't fucking drown on me because I can't save you. And the guy goes, what? I go, yeah. I go, I lied. I can't save you. And so they did the thing and stuff, and we're sitting at lunch, right? Oh, because I come out of the water, and I had this hooded robe that I always took to the beach. My friend Monique Edwards made for me, right? Mm-hmm. In Hawaii, right? Because I used to go to Hawaii in the winter and stay with Dean and his wife and make surfboards for years. For 30 years, I went over there, the Big Island. So, Pamela Anderson, this other guy who's on Baywatch who was co-starred with her, and some other dude are all sitting in these chairs on Hasselhoff.
Right.
The 3 of them are sitting there. They're all away from each other. They don't look at each other, talk to each other. They don't shoot shit, right? They're looking forward. But they looked over at me in this hooded robe, and they're staring at me in this hooded robe. And this little dude comes up to me and goes, "Can I talk to you?" "Sure." He goes, "They want to know where you got that hooded robe." And I went, "Why?" They go, "Well, they don't understand why you have one and they don't." I go, "It's cool." I go, "My friend of mine, his wife and I made this together in Hawaii." He goes, "Oh, thank God." He goes back, they huddle, they look back at me, they huddle with this guy, look back at me, huddle. They go back to like not talking to each other. So I thought this was completely weird, right?
Yeah.
This is like my introductions to Hollywood. You know what I mean? Which at that point I just can't take these people seriously, right? These are not serious people.
Right.
All right. They're not serious people, right? They're in this bubble of non-reality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me ask you this though, because you were talking about you were talking about your nieces when you got sober, right?
Right.
Was there any time before was your drinking getting in the way of besides that, or like?
Yeah, it was everything was fucked up. Okay.
Was that as a result of the drinking, or
drinking, using, everything? Cause
yeah.
It's just like you. It's like I know people say that they're functioning alcoholics
Yeah.
and drug addicts. I know they're functioning. The reality is, you're not functioning.
Yeah.
I mean, like how to say this? Okay. I don't care if you drink and use drugs.
Yeah.
That's on you, right? For me personally, it's not a good thing, right? It's not beneficial to my mental health. It's not physically beneficial. There's nothing, if it still was a good situation, I'd be doing it, right? No, I mean,
yeah, I know.
I mean, it's like, it's not appealing. To me, it's not appealing in any way. It was appealing back then because I didn't know any different life.
Yeah.
Once you learn that there's a different life,
that's right.
Then it's like not appealing.
And I'm going to tell you something. You had a turning point in my sobriety. I'm going to tell you what it is. I was like you in the beginning. I don't want to go to this meeting. I don't want to do that. And my buddy Sean was making me do all the shit I didn't want to do.
Lefty.
No, different. Sean Milliken.
Oh.
And I didn't want to do it, right? And I remember there was this bowling league.
The bowling league.
Right? The bowling league at Pico Bowl was starting.
Right. I made all the T-shirts for that with like.
I still have the T-shirt that you made. But there was this league, right? And I didn't want to do it. I go, I'm not fucking doing that. It's stupid. I don't even like bowling. Right?
Oh, that was so great.
And then Sean said, we got to go do it, right? It was Monday nights.
Sunday nights. It was Sunday. It was Sunday night on 14th Street and the park there.
Yeah, that's right. So I go, I don't want to do it.
I was the door monitor.
Well, I go, and all of a sudden I finally, he convinces me to go. And I was almost 2 years sober at the time, but I was still like this, hanging on. I'm going to do it my way. I don't want to let my guard down.
Right.
I don't want you to get to know me. And I go in with him to bowling. The truth is, I'm scared.
Right.
I'm afraid.
Right. Everybody's afraid.
And the lanes are filled with sober people
and hot chicks.
And I see you, and I go and I didn't know you were sober at the time.
Uh-huh.
And I go, fucking Skip's in here. What's Skip doing here? And there was a spot on your team.
Right. Me, Ray McShaw, and you.
And you go, come on. And it was Ray. And all of a sudden,
Ray was so funny.
You made it like, if Skip's in here bowling in this weird bowling league, there's got to be something to it. And what I saw was you and Ray laughing.
Right.
And having a blast. And then that's when I got.
Ray got fully equipmented out. He got shoes. He bought shoes. He bought like a shirt. It was like he was completely dressed for bowling. Like
he couldn't even bowl.
Right.
But he didn't care.
Right.
He was down, he was in, you were in. You had your own ball, I think.
Yeah, I did.
And I was going, I go, shit, maybe, because you guys were having fun.
I had that ball from the time I was like 12 years old or something. Because I
Yeah.
used to bowl. Because I used to bowl for Civic Lanes, right?
Yeah.
I was a bowling phenon kid, right? Like
Another thing he did, see?
I was really good at bowling.
Let me ask you this, because that was like, to me, that was a turning point in my life. Like you put it, you said, there's another life that we don't know about.
Right.
You don't know about it until you give this one up, right?
Right.
What's it like for you now? Like, you've been sober for how long now?
35 years.
35 years.
Yeah.
What's that been like for you in these last 35 years, if you could?
Well,
Like,
okay.
how's it different?
Well, it's really different because what happens is that first of all, there's this thing called emotional sobriety, which isn't really, it's like, okay, it's about drinking and using, but it's not about drinking and using. What you learn is that you as a person cannot get hung up in other people's bullshit, right? You can't have other people taking up real estate inside your head, as the old saying goes, right? Okay, and you start looking at things as they are versus what you wish them to be, right? Mm-hmm. Like the thing is, you can't give people attributes they don't possess. You know what I'm saying? It's like you want to like this person, but you know they're a thief.
Right.
You want to like this person, but you know that they're a liar, right? So therefore, you deal with them as you would the fact that, like, you can't really buy into them wholeheartedly. You maybe can have dealings with them, but the dealings can only go so far because you know that their nature is either to steal from you or to lie to you or cheat you or some way, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. But you as an emotionally mature person refuse to go down the rabbit hole. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't, and that takes time to figure out because you have to figure out what's wrong with you mm-hmm. in order to get to there, right? Mm-hmm. Like one of the things I did in sobriety is when I knew my mom was going to pass away at some point, I decided I needed to go to therapy, right? Now, I don't, like, different people have different opinions about therapy and versus AA and stuff. I don't see them as versus one or the other. Right. I think that they're like AA for me was one of the few things I ever joined willingly that had proven results. Okay? Mm-hmm. Proven results. Right? If you deal with it and you go through all the steps and things, like honestly, because listen, if you're drinking and using, there's a part of you that's a dishonest person, and you're lying to you. Mm-hmm. You're not lying to other, like right. You're lying to you as how you're trying to project to other people, right? You have to get rid of that false facade. You have to actually be the person that you are and just fucking cop to it. I'm this person, right? I'm this person, right?
So you got to be honest with yourself first.
First, absolutely. And that comes with the emotional sobriety thing, like this person, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Then I hooked up with my friend Bobby Newworth. And Bobby Newworth taught me a lot of things. I mean, I met him when I was in my 20s. Like, he was already sober, and I was on my run, on the beginning of my run. So we weren't going to, like, it wasn't going to work out back then. But over the years, we kind of had contact with each other and stuff, and then we really got together, okay? And I remember I was walking down Montana to go to this Italian restaurant, and he was coming back up the street, and we stop, and I go, Bobby, man, I have a question for you. Because he has that. He goes, I go, how do you stay sober all these years? He looked at me. It's really skillful, Skip. What's that? He goes, walk slow, drink water. What? The fuck does that mean? Walk slow. He goes, see you later. You'll figure it out. Okay? You'll figure it out. I fucking never forgot that, right?
Yeah.
I wake up sometimes and go like, I get up in the morning. A fucking guy put this idea in my head, right?
Right.
Okay. One day I understood it completely.
What
I'm
was
not
your-
going
what
to. I'm
was-
not going to tell you what that is, because if you can't figure out what walk slow, drink water is, now you have this fucking thing in your head, and you figure it out.
It's like the box with nothing
right,
in it.
the box.
Right?
Okay. There's another guy who was really a great guy, lived with me for a while, a guy named Billy Bedard. I don't know if you knew him.
Yep.
And he had this. He was a roommate of mine, and I'd get up like at 5 o'clock in the morning. He'd already be up. Already be up. I go, God, I can't have this guy get up earlier than me. I got up at 4:45. He was already up. That's what on. When I get 4:30 in the morning, a motherfucker's already up. I go, why are you already up always for me? He goes, just so you know that there's somebody always there ahead of you.
Wow.
Okay, I get it, right?
Right.
And he turned me on to this thing called a God box. You know what that is?
Of course I do.
Okay. Got that shoe box on the shelf,
Yeah.
feeling pissed off and shit, right? God, I hate this motherfucker. You know, let him die of cancer. you know what I mean? Have his car break down tomorrow on the freeway. Put it in the God box, right? God doesn't answer those prayers, okay?
Right.
God doesn't act that way, right? Okay? You know what I mean? If you believe in God or you don't believe in God, right?
Right.
Right? Now, like me being a skeptic of everything, right? I still did the God box, right?
Right.
You know, just in case.
Right.
Just in case. You know, no sense in not hedging your bases, you know what I mean? Right? It's like, if it's not, doesn't cost you a dime, it's fine. Like, just invest in that, invest in you, right? So that, and between those three women, like taking me all over the place, and you know, and Debbie ended up working for me as a salesperson, right?
Mm.
And
How do you? Let me ask you this question. I love to ask this question. It's like, because there was running on a time.
okay,
What is it that you do that keeps you in gratitude and keeps that people living rent free in your head? Is there anything that you do regularly that you know, that you can suggest?
well, okay, I'll just go with this. So I'll go down through the list of injuries and shit.
All right.
Okay. One snapped ankle skateboarding, 2 hips, went through cancer, need hearing aids, had 2 cataract surgeries, and I lost 1/3 of the shoulder bone in an accident. So I'm just a parts house.
Right.
Okay. You know what I mean? There isn't enough stuff for surgeons to work on yet, right?
Right.
Maybe they start going internally again. I don't know. Anyhow, what keeps me going is that I know that at some point the sands run out, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing, you know, to be scared of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's going to happen to everybody. Like they said, no one gets out alive.
Right.
Right. But I spend every day like working on stuff. Like I have, like I still work on my skateboard business. I have a thing going with this surfboard shop down in Hermosa, which was Scott Anderson's when he passed away, and this young kid named Matt Grote took it over, and he's really good. He's really good. And so he's been like really cool. He gave me a couple little surfboard models they make, so I got some little payment out of those. Stuff I designed with Dean Edwards in Hawaii. And then I work with this kid, Chris Candy, and he does the clothing business with me, and he's a wonderful person, the sweetest guy ever, nice, like a heart so big it's unbelievable. So I have a bunch of people around me. I got a guy that does my marketing for the skateboarders down in Huntington, named Alex, another great person. So I've sort of been able to surround myself with quality people. That's what keeps me going. The search for, the ability, like an example, I just helped these guys restart their company called Royal Hawaiian Pool Service, skateboards. Like the guys, they started, I helped them in the 80s, and then they kind of went away, and I just felt that the label was valuable to them, and both of them, they had parted in a sort of weird thing, but like I got them back together and got this label restarted for them that they own, which is gratifying, right?
Do you have a routine, like a morning routine or anything also that you?
Yeah, I get up at 5:30 in the morning and help and send my wife off to work at JPL NASA, right? And then I'm up, right? You know what I mean? She's like Billy Woodard. She's up before me, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know what I mean? And like the fire came and we lost everything.
That's right. You lost your house.
Right, lost the place they rented and my painting area and everything, and it's interesting challenge at my age to like pick up everything and start over, right?
Yeah.
So that to me is like, it keeps me in the now, right? Like, remember that guy, Bob the Beater?
Yes.
Okay, like he'd take the big A book and he says, and I'm in the now, and I'm in the now. Like it was like he was like a Rosicrucian or something like,
Al Sainz.
Yeah.
Al Sainz did that.
And Bob the Beater, like he just like,
yeah.
he used to really trip me out, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I've seen some like strange stuff. Like a guy came to me once at a Sunday night meeting up in Brentwood, and he had something to do in the movie business. And he goes, I understand like that, like you're good in the water and surf and everything. I went, yeah. He goes, what do you think about like stunt doubling Chris Farley? And I went, yeah, that would be good. You know what I mean? He goes, well, I'll talk to you about it. So I go to this meeting with Bobby Newworth in Beverly Hills, right? And here's Chris Farley. And it's the rodeo meeting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's all the way in the back near the food and the coffee and shit. And I go to Bobby, I go, hey man, they want me to, do this. Guy looked at me and goes, don't even fucking think about it, we're dead in 6 months. What? He goes, listen, Skipper, I've been around a long time, and I can tell the ones that are going to live and the ones that are going to die. That guy's on the road to death. I went, you're kidding. He goes, it's just my opinion, 6 months. Okay. I was sitting at home about like 3 months later. Chris Farley's dead. Wow. Right? Now, that same night we went to that meeting, we went to Bobby was playing at this place called the Yellow Dog Saloon in Hollywood. And this chick was Katie Moffat was playing there. She was with the Everly Brothers and somebody else. And I was sitting there, and this guy comes over to Bobby and goes, hey, like Quentin wants to meet you. And so he goes, what? He goes, Quentin Tarantino. So I went there. Okay. So we go, well, he goes, yeah, okay, like, and he goes, Quentin wants to know if you want to come by the house. And he's always going, come on, man, let's just go by the house, right? So we go to Quentin Tarantino's house up on the hill, right? And then Rosie Flores was there too. Rosie Flores was one time in Screaming Sirens.
Oh, yeah.
And she went to Nashville and became big, right?
Right.
Okay, so we're there, and Rosie Flores goes, you know, I had a boyfriend that was a skater once. I went, really? She goes, yeah. I go, who's that? She goes, Tony Alva. And I go, he's been everybody's boyfriend. Don't worry about it, right? So there, Quentin Tarantino. So naturally, I walk in and I look in his icebox, right? And there's not shit in his icebox, like no food, right? Just some like bottled water or something, no food. And he had bought this movie projector like when I was a kid. And when he walked in his house on Washington Heights or something, like he walked in and then there was like the stuff went downstairs and there was these two arches. And he shows me, he goes, look, I can project through these two arches against the wall like when you're in high school, right? Because that's what he did in high school.
Right.
And I'm talking to him and I go, let me ask you this question. Why the fuck don't you have any food in your icebox? And he goes, he looked at me, he goes, I eat every meal out. I go, okay. And he was like, it was really weird. He was like any skateboard kid or surfer, right? A teenager, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you've been a teenager once, okay? Where'd you put your dirty clothes? In the corner, right? You took the dirty shit off, you threw it in the corner, put some clean clothes on, wore those, and threw the dirty clothes until there was no more clean ones. And he went over and sniffed the ones in the corner to see if they're still good enough to wear, right?
Yeah.
Right or wrong. That was like Quentin Tarantino. He was like, I mean, they didn't do that, but it's like, but he was like, what's amazing about him and as a vision, right? Mm-hmm. Is that like, he's maintained this like childhood curiosity about stuff. Well, I asked him like, how'd you make that movie Jackie Brown? Like, what did you got to figure out the surfer and stuff? He goes, Hermosa, Gardena, Watts. He goes, it's only like a 20-minute drive from Watts to Hermosa. I go, genius, right? Yeah. It's like everything, like his like mind was like so organic. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he, you know, he was really a gracious person. Yeah. Like I really liked him as a human being. I had a, you know, I've told that story before. I had a meeting with him once on the set of Pulp Fiction. And I was newly sober and I was freaked out to be there. I didn't want to be there, but my manager and I had the same manager as him. And she sent me over there to go have lunch with him. She goes, you're going to work with him. And I'm like, you know, I don't even know who this guy is. I read Pulp Fiction. I mean, I read Pulp Fiction. I didn't like it. I thought it was shitty. That's what I thought. And I didn't want to meet the guy. But I go down the set and they just shot the scene where Travolta's gun goes off and blows the guy's head off. He comes up to meet me. He's covered in blood, shakes my hand. It's like, Nick, it's so good to meet you. He goes, let me shoot this one more scene and we're going to have lunch. And I was like thinking already, I got to get out of here. It was a closed set. And then I was looking for a way out and I wandered into this house that was there. And I didn't notice. I walked into like the dining room area and I didn't see anybody. And all of a sudden I heard, hey, what are you doing in here? Hey, you. And I looked and the AD was pointing at me and he goes, you, what are you doing in here? And I didn't realize I had walked onto the set. They were filming and Quentin was there and he goes, oh, Nick, he goes, over here. He goes, he's okay. And he had me come over and he had the camera on a sandbag and he was shooting up at Christopher Walken doing the scene where he's carrying the kid's watch up his ass. Right. And the camera, he goes, come down here. He goes, sit next to me. And he moved everyone out of the way. He was so nice because he knew I was freaked. And he sat me down on one side of the camera and he sat on the other side of the camera and I got to sit next to him while they shot that scene. So nice. But I still was so uncomfortable in my own skin.
I fucking found the first door out of there, skipped lunch with him, and I didn't even say goodbye, and I just was gone. But I want to wrap up with just saying thank you so much, Skip, for coming out. And this is such a treat for me. I love you to death. I mean, you've done so much for me you don't even know, you were in my movie 5150, which we didn't even get into. You were fantastic. Just fantastic in that.
Do you have a check for me, by the way? No, just kidding.
But I appreciate you coming so much, Skip. I mean, you're a legend to all of us. I mean, this has just been a special treat to have you here. Thank you so much.
It was fun and easy, you know, seeing your son, like as a grown person.
Right.
Oh, it's like really great because, you know, that's the whole thing. Like, I've seen generations of kids go from like really small that I've given the skateboards to, right? There's this company in New York called Zoo York, right? Mm-hmm. And the guy bought one of my surfboards for like the charity thing for me for after the fire. Yeah. You know, like we did this guy, Chris Candy, put this t-shirt deal together called I Skate for Skip. And that's how I got money.
Is that still going?
I think you talk to Rip City and call it Chris City. So anyway, we did these shirts and they were pretty good. And then the guy at Aquatech, we made these like surfboards and he sold some. And one of them was this guy owns New York, right? And he goes, the guy that owns New York went like, you know, when I was a kid, you gave me my first skateboard for free. And I went, wow, yeah. wow, man, that's interesting. Like, I've had so many people come back and go, like Joel Tudor, he goes, you know, you were my first sponsor I ever had. So yeah. I'm just redoing a board with him now. Okay. And Stecyk's doing the artwork on it.
Oh, wow.
Right.
That's bitchin'.
It's the first graphic for skateboards Craig's done in years. So he just talked to me on the phone yesterday. He and I.
Is that coming out soon?
Well, it depends on their schedule of how.
Right.
It's like both of them have like, you know, like Craig's very busy as being an artist, and Joel's very busy with his like karate, judo school, right? and stuff like that. But it'll happen sometime within the next 6 months. Well, and then so it's like there's people like, it's really weird. Like the giving people skateboards as a kid. You know, I never.
You've given me tons of skateboards. Yeah. Every time, let me tell you, every time you'd come into Santa Monica to see me, you have your van, right? And I knew, I'd go, oh, he's going to give me a board. You always would go, before you'd leave, we'd hang out and talk. You'd go, oh, hold on a second. You go to the back, open the door, and hand me a new deck. I'm like, yes.
It's kind of weird because, like, example, I've been a sponsor of this Jerry Lewis Surfathon for every year that's started from day one till now. And I think that's one of the great things about Venice community and Santa Monica community is like, that's totally sponsored by only small people. Wow. No energy drinks, no corporate sponsorship. They've tried to buy it off for years and years and years, but it's like the organic nature of the neighborhood has like rebutted all that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's another guy that's interesting is that guy, Todd Glassell, Jerry Lewis. All right. Misunderstood human being. Anyway, we could wrap it up.
We're out of time, and he was delegating the times. But man, again, Skip.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, buddy. Love you to death. Skip Engblom, folks. Fantastic conversation.
Aloha.